Hi, my name is Eva, and I used to be one of Jehovah's Witnesses. Long story short, I got recruited as one of Jehovah's Witnesses aged 14 back in Riga, Latvia in 96, and then I got baptized as one of Jehovah's Witnesses just after my 15th birthday. I left 22 years later in 2018. I disassociated myself, and since then, I've had to have a lot of therapy. And now I want to share my story as well as the experiences and maybe give you some insights you didn't already know about Jehovah's Witnesses and what it's like being in a cult. So I actually want to talk about child baptism in Jehovah's Witness organization because as somebody who got baptized just after my 15th birthday, I feel it is a very close topic, close to home topic. Also, I have a 15-year-old daughter now myself. She'll be 16 soon, and my youngest just turned 13. So looking at them, it brings back what it was like being 14, 15 when I first met Jehovah's Witnesses, how I got roped into it, roped into this organisation I knew hardly anything about, and what I have observed in those 22 years of being a Jehovah's Witness, how young people, underage people, sometimes even children under 10, are being manipulated and psychologically almost bullied into getting baptized and committing to become one of Jehovah's Witnesses. So, what do I mean by being manipulated or bullied into being baptized? So, Jehovah's Witnesses in general believe that only they will be saved by God in the coming Armageddon. And the Armageddon will mean that everybody else will get destroyed, annihilated, whether you're a baby or a child or a woman, man, old person, everybody is going to be unalived simply because they're not baptized Jehovah's Witness. So whilst Jehovah's Witnesses don't baptize babies like some of the other Christian religions, which they make a very big deal about, saying like, look at us, we don't baptize babies, so we let people choose for themselves. I do believe it's misleading and inaccurate because the longer time you spend as being one of Jehovah's Witnesses, a lot of things come up that are hidden from the general public and not being told to people who agree to their so-called Bible study. And the baptism part, especially child baptism, is very much one of those topics. So personally, apart from myself, I have seen young teenagers. I think the youngest I've seen being baptized is probably a 12-year-old or a 10-year-old. I do know sometimes in the Watchtower articles and in other places there have been children aged 8, 9, maybe even 7 getting baptized. And to bring perspective to it, so everybody who wants to get baptized have to go through so-called baptismal questions, which is quite a lengthy process. You have to see a number of different elders to go through these questions in like 4 parts, I think. I can't remember because it was a long time ago. And then these elders meet up and discuss whether they think you're ready for baptism, and then they'll let you know if you are or are not. So 9 times out of 10, they will tell the person that they are ready for baptism, and that will include a 14, 15-year-old kid that I was, even though I'd only known witnesses for like 4 months before that happened. And I was doing their so-called Bible study, which isn't really studying the Bible, it's studying their own publication with Bible scriptures in it to fit the narrative of what they believe. So in the articles and the talks they have at the Kingdom Hall, there's very much of emphasis. It's as soon as you are you have powers of reasoning or you're old enough to understand something, which depends on the age, you are then solely responsible to God, and you cannot be saved through your parents. And also, I have seen and heard where a lot of Jehovah's Witness parents will put a lot of pressure on their underage children, teenagers, kids, about, we want you to get baptized, especially when they're near the age of 15, 16, because a lot of parents believe that their child should just have basic education and then go into what they call pioneering, which means knocking on a door instead of a full-time job, being baptized, because in a way I think they're just terrified that their kid is going to get destroyed in Armageddon. And also I think there's an element that they want to look good in their congregation. Like, look at my child, she's only, let's say 12, 14, 16, she's dedicated her life to Jehovah. Yet there is no way anybody under 18 or even under 21 would fully understand what it entails, even if they've been brought up in this organisation to be one of Jehovah's Witnesses. I wasn't, but it's irrelevant. As an underage child, teenager, you don't even know who you are. You don't even know what you want in life. You have ideas. You've been insulated from the world. You've been protected. You've not even had a proper job. You've not had full-on education. You've not integrated yourself into society and know how things work, and getting to know yourself, what your desires are, what you're interested in, what you don't like. So the pressure the Jehovah's Witness organisation put on these youngsters is sick, because I have seen so many examples of this in the 22 years I was a Jehovah's Witness, of these youngsters being pressured to get baptized, or the parents literally threaten to kick them out of the house if they leave. They risk to lose everything, and they're not even, the brain's not even fully developed. I mean, we know that the frontal lobe doesn't develop fully till age 25 for most people. So emotionally, no one is really ready to make a life-changing, altering decision before age 25 maybe. So I'm not saying that somebody young might, a lot of young children are intelligent, they probably do know what they want at that time, but it is gaslighting and outright narcissistic abuse for this organisation to put pressure on the parents, then to put pressure on underage kids, also in the congregation. I've seen so many times where people go up to somebody who's, 14, 15, 16 and saying, well, when are you getting baptised? And it's making out to be like, oh, you've got to get baptised. It's like, it's like being threatened all the time that you've got to get baptised or you will not be accepted, and you will lose your life. So death threats, it's literally blackmail, emotional blackmail into getting these kids baptised. So I think it's a very worrying thing in Jehovah's Witness organisation. I'm glad I've left. I'm glad my kids don't have to be part of it. And don't take my word for it. Go and look at jw.org and just see how much they praise the 8-year-olds or the 10-year-olds that are baptised, and making it out that somehow a 10-year-old is going to know, make a decision for the rest of their life, which is just, it's disgusting.